What's good, everybody? It's Jonah coming back at you with another video. So with this video here, I wanted to talk about the difference between action and inspired action. So of course they're going to be different because they're different terms, but I want to explain to you why there's a distinct difference between the two, right? Because people often get action confused, right? When you hear people say, "Oh, take action," most people confuse action with work. Like they usually assign it with work, right? And it's usually most people are never excited or looking forward to doing work, but most regular action is going to feel like work. And if doing something feels like work, then you are going backwards, right? Think of regular action as almost like doing an undesirable to-do list, right? You just are just in the motions of doing things, but you're not necessarily enjoying it, right? You're getting the task done, but it's not pleasurable. And I can give a simple and easy example for you to understand. Say, for example, you have a vacuum and you need to clean your house and you're gonna vacuum your home. Standard action is like taking the vacuum and passing it around your entire house without ever plugging it into the electricity or turning it on. That's the equivalent of taking standard action, because you can take action, but it won't be productive. It won't necessarily be productive, right? You can pass your vacuum around the house and say that you vacuumed because technically you did, but all you did really was just spread the dirt and the dust all around. You didn't actually clean your home because you never plugged it into the electricity. That is the difference between standard action and inspired action. Inspired action, hence the name inspired, right, comes from inspiration. It's you taking action from the perspective of inspiration. It's you taking action, but you're moving from a point where you're ready to receive the blessings. That is essentially vacuuming your house with the vacuum plugged into the electricity, because the vacuum itself won't do anything if it's not plugged into electricity. It's virtually useless if it's not plugged into the power source, right? And the power source is the energy, it's the universal energy, everything that surrounds us. When you're tuned in to the universal energy, which is you being happy, you feeling good, being positive, feeling grateful, right? All those positive emotions. That's you essentially plugging yourself into the power source. And that is effectively you plugging the vacuum into the electricity. So now that the vacuum has power, or the vacuum is turned on, if it's like a vacuum that's like battery powered, right? Now that the vacuum is on, now when you pass the vacuum around your house, you're able to clean up the dust and the dirt and have a clean home, right? Inspired action is never going to feel like work because you're having fun, you're enjoying it. That is the big difference, right? People think it's the same because action is action, but it's not. Because when you take inspired action, you're essentially pulling ideas from the invisible. You're getting your best ideas when you feel your best. And when you're going through the motions of it, you're not just doing whatever it is that you have to do, right? You're not just going through the motions, you're actually enjoying yourself all throughout. And that's what's always going to be most important. If you ever find yourself in a creative space, you're going to need to lean on taking inspired action, because that is what's going to be most beneficial, right? Because then you're enjoying yourself, and then it's never going to feel like work because you're having so much fun. If something ever begins to feel like just work, then how do you expect to remain consistent at it? How do you expect to continue at it, right? It'll feel as though you're pushing against the tide when you want to be flowing with the river. And that is the big difference between the two. So I wanted to explain that because I know there's plenty of people who you hear all the time, take action, take action, take action. And that's good, right? It's good to do things, but what's most important is for you to feel good first and then take the action. Because if you feel great and then you take the action, and then the action also makes you feel good because it's something that's enjoyable and fun, then you're going to maintain that good feeling all throughout. And that is what's most important. If you're just taking action you're angry, you're frustrated, you're just taking action, it's not really gonna get you anywhere. It's not necessarily going to move the needle. And then if you felt just as bad the entire time, then nothing is gonna change. You can take all the action that you want, but it's not going to ever surpass inspired action. Those people who find great success, when it happens, it's because of inspired action. You hear all the time from musicians, right? People will interview musicians, famous musicians, and they'll say, hey, that song that you made, that song that's popular, that's viral, how did you ever come up with that masterpiece? And oftentimes they'll say, oh yeah, the song came together in like 15 minutes, like it was super fast. That's because it was inspired action that created that they felt the juices flowing, and it just went. Either when they made the beat or they first heard the beat itself, you could see that they were already like this is the one. They knew this was the one before they even recorded the vocals, right? You hear all the time from artists. A lot of the artists' biggest songs were made in just a few minutes, because that's how easy and effortless it was and it felt. And that's how you need to also be operating too. If we tie this back to being a chef in the kitchen, right? A chef who's working is probably overwhelmed, frustrated, anxious, because they have so many, items that they need to get done, and it's all over the place. They're making mistakes, right? But when there's someone in the kitchen who's operating from inspired action, they're putting love in their food. They're making sure every dish that's served looks amazing. Like it looks as good as it tastes, right? A person is happy in the kitchen. They're cooking with love. Like that is the difference between action and inspired action. So if you're a creator, whatever it is that you do, you want to get into the habit of feeling good. And then from that vantage point, from that perspective of feeling good, optimistic, excited, you want to now keep your mind open for the ideas and the urges that you begin to have, because that is the universe communicating with you to tell you, hey, you should do this, you should check this out, you should try this, right? That's your connection with the universe. And then from that inspired action, that is when you're going to feel your best and feel as though everything is happening easy and effortless to you. So this is just to help you guys, like in case you ever feel that you're trying to force things in place, that is not the answer. The answer is first getting into your happy place, and then from there listening to what it is that the ideas that come to mind for the actions that that you can take for any given scenario. So it's not just about taking action. You hear all the time people say take action, take action. It's not just about taking action. You want to take inspired action. You want to operate from a place of joy, and the action itself, if you're operating from a place of happiness, then the action that you're doing is supposed to allow you to maintain that happiness for a continued time, right? And that's the goal, because we were put on this earth to have fun and be happy. So that is the point of inspired action, to remain happy, and that's when things will feel easy. That wraps up the video. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe, as we are on the road to 50 subscribers, guys. We're almost there. So thank you so much for watching the video and for all your support up until this point. Once again, guys, it's Joel, and I'm out. See you guys for the next video.